Very good morning to you, Facebook. This is Joseph coming again to you with issues that have affected our country from the 60s to present day. One of those issues is the racial biases between the two major races. And my position is that it all started because somebody wanted power. And in order to gravitate to that power, they had to find a way to make people create differences between themselves. And it's easy. Indians and blacks. But together, the elite that has tried to create those differences, the people in authority, the people in power, the people that we give power to, and we give power to them because of their racial makeup. If we're Indian, we give power to the pro-Indian government. And if we're black, we give power to the pro-black government. And we're angry when they're not in power. The truth is, nothing much happens different on the ground. People are always going to steal our money when they're in power. How can we change that dynamic? If you join me, I want to tell you about a story happened more than 20 years ago when I was in local government administration. The very people that we're saying that has been accused of being corrupt over a period of time. And more recently, I saw somebody that lost total composure when certain questions were asked. And we can get back to that. But what I'm saying is, during the period where Burnham was ruling us, the people that are my age, younger, maybe 10 years younger, 15 years younger, 20 years older, if we're still alive, would remember that our country was beautiful. We used to, me and my mom, I remember going to the market and the shops, places where we used to buy grocery. And for $5, we brought home a big basket, 2 big baskets actually, that we could fetch. I remember those oblong egg-shaped baskets, if you remember. That's how much I remember. And for $5, those things were filled with groceries. And then we learned that we can't have a lot of groceries anymore because things weren't so right. I was a kid. I grew up knowing that. And then after that, we heard about things being banned. Our problem is that the leader in that day did not respect the Guyanese people. They did not respect who we were. They did not look to us for any guidance as to what policies. And that happens when you have a dictatorship. They don't respect your opinions as a people, as a nation. They don't care for how you feel. They care. A dictatorship is where they care for how they feel. So let's get back to this. Corruption. People, the country started losing money. The people in the public service that had, let's say they worked for $20. I'm gonna tell you about a story where I had a nephew of mine that used to teach, and this teacher came to me at the end of a month. He drew his salary, which was $300. He rode on a bicycle. He came to my house and he said, "Uncle Joe, I need $400 because I need to buy a shoe." So I thought to myself, well, you work? He said, yes, I have $300, but I need $400 more to buy a shoe. The shoe is $700. Can you imagine? That was the time that we lived in. And that was the 80s. Early 80s. So let's understand each other here. Public servants had to be corrupt. We couldn't blame them for being corrupt. I was sorry. I used to smuggle from Suriname to Guyana. We used to smuggle all kinds of things, food stuff, this, that, whatever could sell. You meet a cop, you bribe a cop. You bribe a cop, he needed that money. But that growth. He needed that money because his salary couldn't keep him alive. And that's a sad state that we were in the 70s and 80s. And Guyanese need to understand this, because if you don't understand it, you're going to think, okay, this guy is corrupt, but where did it come from? I'm saying that it came from then, in the days of Burnham. PPP, when it got into power in 1992, they had a slogan. And this slogan said, nip corruption in the bud. And I have videos, if you can watch my YouTube channels, it's Voices Guyana on YouTube. And I have videos showing where corruption actually started in the PPP. Because those were days when Guyana had hope. Guyana, the majority of Guyanese, regardless of race, the majority of Guyanese knew that, thought that something good was going to happen. And then the Honorable Chedi Jagan, God rest his soul, I think he was a special person, he died. And what we got to this day was not a Jagan PPP. It was a Bharat PPP. And people who don't understand how that whole thing happened, I'm going to tell you like this. It was a situation where this guy got into government even before the PPP got into power. So he worked at the State Planning Secretariat. And that's where the core of corruption happened in those days, and still does. And you ask me how I know? I know because I had to interact with those people a lot. And that's a different story. Let's not get into full that. And from then onward, corruption never stopped. I was one of the first persons who tried to stop corruption by recognizing it in a top PPP forum. This very guy that is accused today of being lying and all kinds of stuff like that, he was, in those days, he actually supported corruption. You know why I think he supported corruption? He supported corruption by accusing, or not accusing, by slaughtering the guy who recognized corruption. And that was me, way back in those days in the 90s. And I have a video on that too, because I'm not going to bore you with a whole lot of this and that and the other. But what is happening today is, let's look at this guy, that interview. He was ranting. He had that journalist by her petticoat, He was in control. That's how he needs to be, in control. One hard question, a name. We learned from Glenn Lal last night that this guy Sue, he owns the place that he's buying up land at the place that they're gonna build a city. So that's our honorable vice president there, who's gonna have all those. The relationship is gonna come out. It's there, but it means that what's happening today is that there's a writing on the wall for that honorable gentleman. For all those years, he never recognized that something was not right. He didn't respect the people that he was serving. He abused the name of Chedi Jagan. And in the name of Chedi Jagan, the PPP won many elections. That honorable gentleman, his soul is coming back to haunt them. I think so. Because the ideals that he stood for and the ideals that is today is totally different. There's no Chedi Jagan in this place right now. And I looked at that video there and I saw how this guy lost composure when he heard a name. Just a name. And he lost composure in such a way that his face changed. And any person with any amount of knowledge concerning lie detection, we're not all lie detectors, but we're smart enough to know when somebody's lying to us. And we're going to learn a lot more in time to come. I also want to let you know something, that when Chagan died, the PPP lost its soul. It lost everything that was good for them. Some of my friends here are recommending that if Bart wants to prove innocence, he needs to get that same reporter, get that same guy, Mr. Sue, and get himself, and put them all on camera and have that discussion. I would recommend that too. And I'm sure many Guyanese people are waiting in the wings, hoping that this would happen someday. I know that this will never happen because the guy in question will never tolerate such a thing. He's not that stupid. Who wants to get caught on camera? Again, not that guy. So, to all my friends, to all my Facebook friends, I want to encourage you to join me from time to time, right here. Thank you very much. I see some of my very special friends from way back when. I don't think I should call your names because that's not the right thing to do, but thank you very much for taking a peep and saying hi. I respect you guys. I know we worked together. We had the same ideals. And it just didn't work out. And I have to say it, man. It's something that if you don't discuss it, what happens over time is that you lose your own soul. Because one of my very good friends in 47 Village, I heard him say the word darpoke. Darpoke, for my friends that don't know about the word, it means a coward, a fearful person. So because I don't want to be that, I'm having this discussion. Now, thank you very much for looking. I am looking forward to the time when we will be able, and I'm absolutely certain that that's going to happen, because what is happening here is a writing on the wall for the special guy that has took this great political party to the other end of goodness, and that's evil, and tarnish a great name, and that name is Chedi Jagan. That name came with a lot of honor. People from all races and all walks of life honor that guy. And that is lost. I mean, Indian people still gravitate to PPP, and that's because of an Indianness. But that also will change. And that is something I have a feeling about, and I know many of my Guyanese friends and associates feel the same way too. And before I leave, I'll still want to encourage you to join me and from time to time take a look at some of the experiences I had with PPP, and they're on my videos on Voices Guyana on YouTube. And thank you very much, guys, for watching. I'll have to leave you now and continue this discussion on another day. Thank you very much, and a very good evening to you. By the way, I'm right here in Texas, and I love you guys dearly, and very good evening. Bye-bye.